So this is a tutorial on how to make basically a paddle game. So first thing I'm going to do is open up Unity. I'm just going to go ahead and create a new project, and I'm going to make it to the desktop. That's just because that way you know right where it is. And I'm just going to call it paddle game. And I'm going to go 2D because it's a 2D game. And I'm going to go ahead and create project. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm just going to maximize my space here a little bit. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make some folders right inside of this assets folder, create folder. And the first one's going to be scripts. That's where I'm going to store my scripts. I'll make another folder, create folder, and I'll call this one scenes. We're only going to have one scene, but it's just good habit to always make that folder. Another folder, and this one's just going to be called physic materials. And this is basically just going to hold the material for the ball once it starts needing to bounce. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just save this so we have it saved. So file, save scene, and I'm going to hit this little arrow to open up this, and I'm going to save right in the scenes folder underneath asset, and it's just going to be called main because this is the main scene. The main scene that you open up, that's called main. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to edit, and I'm going to go to project settings, and no, actually, I don't think I need to do that, actually. Never mind. I was going to do that, but that's not a big deal. So let's go ahead and adjust the camera here. So when you select the camera, you can see it here. I'm going to go and I'm going to, do some changes here. So right now the clear flags say skybox. I don't want skybox. I'm going to do a solid color. That way when I click on this, I can choose the color I want. So I'm going to go ahead and do like this kind of orangey color. I just like that color. Okay, great. So we have a solid color. Let's see. We're gonna go. I'm gonna make sure my projection, in case you didn't do 2D, just make sure it's on orthographic. The size I'm gonna make this is 15. Okay, that's just the general size of the box. The near clip plane, which is if I switch this to 3D, you will be able to see if I back this up. That's how close. From the camera can start seeing. So it's pretty tight, so you're not going to really be able to tell. But 0.3 is still a little bit, the distance is not as much as I would like. Now the far, I can actually make this considerably less. I'm going to do like 25. You can see that just makes it cut off a little bit earlier, because we're going to have everything right here, so we don't really need to go too nuts as far as the rest of that stuff's concerned. The last thing I'm going to do is just make sure that this is all 111, 000, and negative 10. Negative 10 just means that this right here is the origin, so you can see it's back minus 10. That way anything that's inside of here it can see. If I put it at 0, it actually might get cut off, so we're going to go ahead and leave that there. All right, next thing to do is to create the paddle. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to go 3D object and cube. Even though we're going to make a 2D game, I'm going to go ahead and make use cubes just because it's easier. So we're going to go ahead and just call this one player, because it's going to be the player cube. Hang on one second. There we go. Okay, so cube, make sure everything's zeroed out, and then the scale Y, I'm going to change this to 4. I'm going to go ahead and, you don't see it there. Let's see here. Let's just check the camera. Okay, so if I look at the cube, you can see that if that's negative 10, why is that looking there? My position doesn't say that. It's weird. Let's try this anyway. 0, tab 0, tab 0. It's weird. Okay. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do, I'm going to put 10 on this. I just need at origin. For some reason, it's not at origin. I don't really know 100%. Oh, that's why, because it was parented to it. Oh, all right. I don't know how that happened, but okay. So maybe because I had it selected, it made it underneath it. All right. I'm going to click on game so I can kind of see it here. Now, I need to move this back against this wall. So in order to do that, I need to kind of see both. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this game tab, and I'm just going to put it inside of this one as well. I'm going to change this from free aspect to standard or standalone. That way, this is like fixed setting. This is exactly going to be this position. So now what I do is I just got to move this on the red to the left for the player. So we're going to say roughly about that amount. So we'll say minus 18. I don't know why I made that exact. That's pretty good. I thought I changed this to player. All right, so player. So let's go ahead and let's create another one of these. So I'm just going to have this selected. I'll just do Command D. And I'm going to put this one is going to be called enemy. Enemy. All right. And it's going to be a positive 18. So I'll just type in up here 18. And now that paddle's there. Okay. So bam, bam. Looks good. All right. So we did that. We did that. Let's go ahead and change the lighting because that'll help change the look. So I'm going to go to Window, Lighting. And right from the top here, we have ambient source is a color, and the color intensity is this. So basically this, because these boxes are gray, will more or less determine what the color of that cube is. So if I go to white, you'll see it'll make it white. If I go black, it'll make it black. If I, do a red color, it'll be kind of red. Okay, so it's sort of whatever, suits your fancy. I'm just gonna do that. All right. Oop, back on this. So that should be good. All right, good. All right, so let's go ahead and exit out of that. Great. So those look like that. That looks good. I don't know, do I want to go back into 2D? We can go in this mode. Might be easier. Okay. So we did that. I did that. Okay. So next thing we're gonna do is actually make this this thing controllable. Okay. So to do that, we're gonna have to make a script. So I'm gonna open up my scripts folder here. I'm gonna right-click, go create. I'm going to do a JavaScript, and I'm just going to call it player script. All right, enter. And I'm going to double click on it, and it should open it up automatically in the MonoDevelop. If yours does not open up in MonoDevelop, then, because sometimes it pops open and then it closes out. I'm not 100% sure why that's happening. Mine did, but if for some reason yours does not, just go to Unity Preferences. Hopefully it pops up, and then you'll see external tools and it'll say external script editor. Right now it should say MonoDevelop. You can browse and then browse to a different text editor that makes you feel warm and fuzzy. I would suggest maybe Dreamweaver if you're on the school's computer, because it will understand JavaScript. Even though it's not 100% JavaScript, it's very similar, so it should be helpful. Okay, so this script comes up. And I forgot to do a couple things. So I'm just going to minimize this for a second. I'm going to grab this player, and we just got to add a couple components to this. So I'm just going to go add component, physics. I'm going to add a rigid body. Okay, I'm going to change the mass to 100. The reason why is that eventually the ball's going to hit it, and if its mass is 1, it'll be equal to the balls, and then they'll actually it won't bounce off nicely. It won't be like hitting a hard object. Okay. I'm also going to do this. So watch, if I hit play right now, you'll see this is going to drop. Okay. The reason why is as use gravity. I'm going to take that off. We don't need that. I'm also going to go to these constraints, and when the ball hits it now, it might make it spin, it might make it move this way or that way. I'm just going to W so I can see the move controller here. So you can see I don't want it to move. I only want it to move in the Y axis, not in the X or the other one. So freeze position, I'm going to take off X and Z, and then I'm going to freeze all the rotations because I don't want it to rotate at all. Okay. That'll just keep it locked so it can't be bumped in any other way. All right, so now that we did that, that's better. Now we can open up the MonoDevelop. All right, so we don't need a function start because it doesn't need to do anything necessarily when it starts. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. I'm going to move this down, and I'm going to add a couple of variables to store our keys that allow it to be moved up and down. So we're going to do key variable move up. All right, so that's what I'm going to name it, and the type is going to be key code. All right, oops, come on, key code, semicolon to end it. I'm going to do another one, and I'm sure you know what it's going to be. Make sure you always start with the lowercase, move down. All right, and this is also going to be a key code, and we're going to do one more that basically just controls the speed of the player. Okay, so we're going to do player speed, and that's just going to be a float, and we're going to go ahead and set that to 10, okay, by default, but we can change that in the in Unity as well once we have this made. So in order for this to work, we're going to do the function update. I like to kind of do it like this. All right, and I'm going to tab this in because we always tab in to do our stuff. So what we're going to say is if the input dot get key, move up. Okay, so move up is pressed. All right. Then I want it to do what's inside these brackets. Okay. So what do I want to happen if it does that? I want to, whoops, I'm going to hit tab. I want to get component. Okay. I think I spelled that right. The rigid body one. Rigid body. All right. Not asking for any parameters. I want to get the velocity of it. And I want to of y, because we're only moving up and down, and I want to set that equal to the player speed. Okay, like that. Great. All right. So the other thing I'm going to do is, so if the input or the move up key is pressed, do that, and I want to do kind of the opposite for the other. So then I'm going to say else if, and then it's going to be kind of the same thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this, Command C and Command V, and this time instead of move up, it'll be move down. Okay, move down, beautiful, and it's going to be this, and it's going to be a minus because we want it to move, not minus, sorry, not like that. This times minus because we want it to move down as opposed to up. Okay, so times -1, so that way it will invert it. Okay, and then we'll just have we'll have this, so it'll be if this, do that, else if this, do that, and then else if you don't do either one of those things, and actually we don't even need to have any parameters for that because, or any arguments in there because we don't, we're not going to be doing anything. We're going to have it get component, rigid body, okay, dot velocity dot y, and we're going to set that equal to 0 or 0. Okay. All right. Now, last thing we're going to do is this. Inside of here is that this will make it move up and down, and that's fine. Like if I save it real quick, you'll see, and I'll click back in here, and hopefully, and I got an error, right? So I'm going to go to console, and it says expecting blah blah found this, and it says on 1342. So that means line 13. And then position 42, like 42 things across. So let's bring this up. So 13, and it was expecting something, it got something else. Expecting that, found that. All right, so let's see what I did wrong. Velocity dot y, get component. Let me pause it for a second. Okay, so forgot my dot notation. So that I gotta put a dot inside of these. Eek, go up. All right, yeah, right here. Dot. Okay, now let's save it. Kick back in here. Just gotta click in here. Hopefully this will clear it out. So now what you'll watch is this. If I hit play, and I play the game down here. Oh, it's not gonna work because I didn't apply it yet. So I'm gonna take that script project. I'm gonna drop it right onto my player. Okay. Now if I hit play. And if I, still not going to work. I didn't set the key code, so I want the up. I'm just going to use my up arrow, so I'm choosing the button that's going to work. So in here, it's going to go to, where are you? Up arrow, and I'm going to use down arrow. Just got to wait to get to it. All right, and down arrow. All right. That's all the stuff. There we go. So you can see I can go up and down, but watch what happens when I get to the edge. It just goes right off the edge. There's nothing to tell it to not do that. So we need to fix that as well. All right. So basically what I need to do is find out how high it can go up and down. So right there, I want it to stop, we'll say, right around 12.5. Okay. And that would obviously be negative 12.5 here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is add that to the bit of code here. All right. And I am going to pause it here so that it doesn't get cut off. Okay, so we'll just pause it and watch the next video.